Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today, we are going to be adding to our farm area and building a bamboo farm and a super smelter. So, it's going to be a busy episode. Let's go ahead and get started with it. We are starting out today's episode over by our mob farm, and I've been doing a little bit of digging, as you saw from the intro, getting this area all flattened out and ready to be able to do some projects over here. So you can see the mob farm behind me. Everything is looking good there, but we need to get this area all developed up because there are some big plans of things that I want to do here. So we need to get started with that. And before we can do it, I need to do a little bit more digging. I think that might be all of the digging that we need to do today. There might be a little bit here and there, but overall, we should be all set. Today, we're going to be working on two big projects, a bamboo farm and a super smelter. Now, the bamboo is going to be not only for fuel for the super smelter, but also to get ready for 1.20, which is going to be coming soon, and have a lot of new blocks for bamboo. So by getting ready for that now, we'll be all set to go when that gets here. I just finished up a live stream and we did some nice little projects around the main base area that I want to be able to show you. So let's head out and we can take a look at those real quick before we get into our project for today. Now you might be able to see them in the background, but we built this little pen for Cloud Hopper. So he is all taken care of and will be able to stay nice and safe. And then in the background, you can see this windmill that we built. And I changed up the windmill part a little bit so that it has a little bit more motion to it because what I built during the stream was very static. But I think that this design turned out a lot better and it actually looks like we've got a little bit of movement with it. So overall, really nice. With all of the digging completed, we are finally ready to get started building the farms. And I think that we have everything that we need to do that. So let's head over to where I've dug this hole out. You can see the beacon beam sticking out and let's see what we have. So it's an almost, actually it is a circle here and we've got the beacon down there. This is just a little bit of a space. We're going to be filling it in with not only the farms, but I also have a nice design that I want to be able to use for it to decorate it out a little bit and make it look a lot better than just the hole in the ground that it is right now. Because I mean, this is just stone and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we can make this look a lot better. Let me get some things together, and then we are going to get some of the bamboo farms started, and I'll bring you back once I've made a little bit of progress with it. So there was a little bit more digging that needed to be done to clear out the rooms for the actual bamboo farms to go into, but those are all done now, and we are ready to get started with getting the farm ready to go. The first thing that we're going to do is lay out a bunch of rails, and you can see I've got all of these rails in here, some power rails and some regular ones, and we're just going to get it all laid out in the floor because then we're going to build the bamboo farm on top of those rails, and then there will be a collection system over here. So let me get those rails into place. You know, laying out a bunch of rails actually looks pretty good as a pattern. But yeah, they're all in place now and ready to go. And I have it in the other two rooms as well. So you can see both of these rooms are done. Now, each room is a little bit different in size, and that's because there are some restrictions based on the water proximity. So this is the biggest room, and we'll have the bamboo growing up all the way up to the ceiling. And then the other rooms are just a little bit smaller. With all of the grass in place, everything is looking really good in here. Nice and clean and ready to go. The other two rooms are also done. So this room is completed and you can see the grass is put into the other room over there too. The next step is to get these rooms all ready for the farms. So we need to get some lights and other things in place. You may notice that we have some different blocks with the glazed terracotta in place, and that is because it's an immovable block, which is going to be useful for the flying machines. Inside, there is a ton of light all over with the glowstone because bamboo requires a lot of light to grow. And so if there is any spot and I forget exactly what level. I think it's like light level of 10. If it drops below that, the bamboo won't grow. So that is why this room is super bright with tons of light everywhere. And then the glazed terracotta goes along the wall, which is where the flying machines are going to run. And that will prevent it from the flying machines from messing up the wall at all because glazed terracotta is not a movable block. But yeah, that's everything that we need. The next thing that we need to do is get the flying machines built and some bamboo planted. This is my first time building a flying machine, and I used a tutorial by Dusty Dude, and I'll include a link in the description down below. But I've got both ends of this flying machine set up so that we have the return mechanism, and then this is where it's going to end up when it comes back, and it will automatically be triggered. So let's give this a test and see if it will work. Um, yeah, I've never done this before. Let's see if we place a block here. There we go. It looks like I built it correctly. It's headed off. And once it gets down to the end, the return mechanism should cause it to bounce back and it'll come back this way. So let's see. It should be just about there. And yes, now it's headed on its way back. It looks like everything is working correctly. With this lever, we can turn the machine on and off so we can watch it come up. And with it turned off, that trapdoor is raised up like that. This should stop as soon as it gets here. Yep, there we go. That's perfect. So the obsidian there prevents it from coming out, and the lever will just start it, and then that way we'll be able to harvest all of our bamboo. So now we need to get the bamboo. Well, actually, we need to get the other flying machines built and then the bamboo planted. Before we plant the bamboo, we need a way to get the bamboo into our storage system. So we have all of these tracks down here for the hopper minecart to go along and pick up all of the bamboo after it's harvested, but we don't have a way for it to get out of the hopper minecart. And Ilmingo has a design which is really useful to use, and I will get that built and then include a link in the description down below, so definitely check it out if you want to use it too. I have the mechanism all in place for unloading the hopper minecart, and you can see it here. Definitely watch the video by El Mango because it explains everything really well. But you can see the hopper minecart is back there, and then it's going to come along and hit the detector rail, which will input a signal into the system. The minecart will then come along the track up to where the amethyst cluster is, and when it gets up here, it's going to drop down and into where this cauldron is located. And the cauldron has lava, and so when the hopper minecart comes up and lands on this track, it's going to break, and all of the items will spill out and go into the storage system, and then the hopper minecart will end up in this hopper and get back into these droppers and then get dispensed back onto the rails. So we should be able to see this in just a moment. Yes, the hopper minecart is getting really close, so it's going to come around the corner in just a moment here, just about now. And then you can see it disappeared, and then it goes back out. And if it had any items, all of the items would have dropped out, and it would go into the system. So we need to get this built up in the other rooms and then get it connected up to a storage room. I finished building each of the unloading systems and put in a water stream, which will take all of the bamboo into a storage system. So we're going to test it out with that bucket. And if we go over here to where the storage room is going to be, yes, we have 3 buckets, one for each of the rooms, and they all came out of that little hole in the wall up there. And what we need to do now is get a line of chests installed so that the bamboo will have a place to go. And then we're going to put the super smelter over on this side of the room. So yeah, let's get this all in place. I think we have everything ready to do a test run for the first time with all of the bamboo put in. And you can see the bamboo has been growing in the background and we're all ready to go. So if we flip the lever here, let me just double check that. Let's turn this on because we want to get the hopper minecart going. And then we'll turn this on here and away the flying machine goes. And you can just see it's breaking all of the bamboo and going along there very nicely. And yeah, we're going to get a lot of bamboo for this first one, but look at how quickly the bamboo grows. I mean, it's already, we're getting a bunch there. So now we just need to wait for the hopper minecart to come back, and then we'll be able to see it break and dispense the items. Okay, it should be coming through here any minute now. Yep, there we are. And you can see all of the bamboo gets unloaded all at once, which is perfect. So we'll be able to get all of the bamboo collected up And once this has been harvesting for a while, it doesn't have as much issue collecting all of it. But the initial one, there's just so much bamboo, and we're getting a lot of bamboo flying out. I may have to do something to block it so that it stays in the room. But this one is all ready to go, so we'll get that started. We'll get this machine going, and we'll get the other room going as well. We'll see how much we're able to get. I've finished building the super smelter, and this is a pretty basic design. So on this end, we have an item loader, and this is based on a mumbo jumbo design, and I'll include a link in the description down below. But those chests there are where the items will come out. And then down here in these chests are where we'll put the fuel. So right now I'm just using coal because we don't have enough bamboo to run all of this at the same time. But the fuel will come along and go along these tracks here. So it loads up, the hopper minecart will be sent off, and it'll just go back and forth along here, filling in the furnaces with the coal. And then it'll be the same for the items which go on the top track too. So that is all ready to go, and we'll be able to get quite a few items because there's a total of 16 furnaces in each row. But with that built, I think it's now time to get this area all decorated in because it's looking pretty shabby. So let me get some blocks together and we will get that build going. I have all of my blocks together that we're going to be using for this build, and these shulkers are all pretty much filled with the different types of blocks, and it's going to be a pretty interesting build. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to show you. So let's go ahead and get the time lapse started for this build. This build is finally complete. Well, not fully complete, but we've got almost everything. We've got the beacon in place. And then if we fly over, you'll be able to take a look at the design up close. Now, the area around it definitely needs some work. And there's a few more decorative things that I want to get into place. The area around the building has a lot more work that needs to be done. I mean, we got to develop this place, but the building itself is mostly complete. It's just the decorative parts that need to be done. Down here, we've got this platform, and this is the stairway leading down to the floor. And then we've got the beam going up through the gem in the center. Along here, you can see these walls are where the bamboo farms are. So we need to get a doorway in so that we can go in and turn the farms on and off. And down here is the storage room and the super smelter. But it all came together. It's all connected up. And I think that that is a good spot to be for today's episode. If we come over here, this is probably my favorite view of this build. So we can land right here and then just look back. I just like how all of the lines in the build come together and focus your eye on the center where that gem is. And that kind of mirrors what we have on the mob farm. In our storage room for the bamboo, you can see we've been able to collect a lot while working on the project. This whole row is done. This row is mostly filled. I think we have some in this bottom chest. Yeah, the bottom chest is filled, and then the top chest too. This chest has a bit, and this one has some as well, but the other ones are all empty. And we need to get all of these filled so that we can be sure to have enough fuel for our super smelter. But sadly, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been great having you here. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, see you later.